Hello and welcome to Dee and Nick's F1 chat. I'm Nick.
And Dee. What are we talking about today, Nick?
The 2023 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
Right, yeah, the Grand Prix. And what did you think about it? Did you enjoy it?
Yes, it was pretty exciting. Sometimes it was not so great, but overall it was a pretty good race.
Yeah, why did you think it was a good race?
I mean, mostly because Verstappen started so far back and Leclerc started so far back, so it was kind of they had to overtake to get back in, and it didn't really turn out great for Leclerc finishing 7th and Max finishing 2nd.
Yeah, so what do you want to talk about first, Nick? Teams wise or teams or drivers wise?
Well, Red Bull at the very end, I think not even at the very end, when Verstappen got into 2nd or even before, I think Perez started pushing really hard so that the team could not tell him to pull over to let Verstappen in front. Because by the end he was like 6 seconds in front or something.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think it was a pretty impressive drive from Checo Perez. No, from Checo Perez. I mean, I think. Sorry. No, I think he managed to. I don't think he could have done any more. I mean, let's face it. I think the team would have. If let's put it this way, if Max would have caught up or got very close, then I think. What do you think? Do you think the team would have? Would we have had team orders? Do you think?
Well,
I don't know.
The team
I
said
think yes.
The team said to Perez, "You're allowed to push. You're allowed to pull away."
Mm-hmm.
So maybe not, but probably they would. But honestly, maybe not because it's so early in the season.
Could be, yeah. I mean, Red Bull, unlike some other teams, maybe Ferrari and Mercedes, just to think off the top of my head, Red Bull do tend to, I don't think there's any doubt that they tend to favour Max. So, but it's very early in the season, like you said, Nick, and so maybe they would have just left it open. But anyway.
And also Max clinching just barely the first place in the championship with the fastest lap at the end.
Yeah, no, obviously he wanted that fastest lap at the end, so yes, that worked out well. So yeah, I mean, actually, what I have to say is we had Max starting in 14th place, 15th was it, yeah. And then we had Charles Leclerc starting in 12th, I think it was. And yeah, both of them came very easily through the field. What was unbelievable to see was, did you see that overtake? I think it was Max did on, was it George Russell? Right, going into
to the high speed section.
Yeah.
Russell would just stay to the right or left to the high speed section, and then just Verstappen basically just went straight and actually with the DRS open, he had a 17 mile per hour advantage on George Russell.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a little bit. I was trying to think before we started filming. I was trying to think when's the last time we had such a big. I mean, it's pretty clear the Red Bull is way better than all of the other cars. We're going to come on in a minute, I think, to where we think each team is at the moment.
Well, a big gap in between the cars, you mean? Like, I think 2020, Mercedes was just way better.
Yeah, but I don't think they had an advantage like this. I mean, I'm going back to, you won't remember it, but you've seen it because we watched the videos together. The Brawn from 2010.
Oh, yeah.
When Jenson Button won the championship. Yeah. I think they had a pretty big advantage, particularly at the beginning of the season.
Didn't Braun turn into Mercedes?
Ooh,
yeah,
Braun.
Yeah. I think Mercedes bought Braun and turned it into Mercedes.
Yeah, so eventually. But, I mean...
The next season, just after Braun had won, they actually changed it to Mercedes.
Yeah. So maybe the Braun of 2010, and then maybe one or two, certainly one of the years, 2 of the years maybe that Sebastian Vettel won at Red Bull. They had a huge advantage there. So that's, for me, maybe 2012, 2000, around that time, was the last time we saw such a big, in my opinion, such a big advantage for,
I mean,
for
if
one
you
team.
remember,
Right?
in 2020 though, if you remember, Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton got like 500 points, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but was the car that much better? That's my point. Like, really,
didn't-
17 miles. Did you say
Valtteri-
17 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Faster? I mean, that's.
With DRS.
Yeah, but that's incredible. But anyway, so we can talk about it, but it certainly, it's a long time in F1, I think, since we've seen somebody have such a huge advantage. And yeah, let's come on to maybe where each team is. So I have to say, like, for all of the complaining from Mercedes, do you think it was a good? I think it was a good race for Mercedes today.
Yeah, they finished 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
After, if you haven't heard, Alonso got reinstated into 3rd place.
Yeah. Oh yes, we were just going to talk about that. So basically, what happened was
he had a 5-second time penalty
yeah,
for starting in the wrong place.
yeah,
Basically, it was too far left.
yeah,
And he got a 5-second time penalty, and the stewards thought that the mechanics touched the car before 5 seconds was over. So they gave him a 10-second time penalty, so George Russell would have gone onto the podium. But he was actually reinstated, and the FIA had basically made a mistake, and they did not touch the car before.
Well, I think actually, I just looked at it quickly. So first of all, Fernando got a 5-second penalty at the beginning because he wasn't correctly positioned in his grid box. I mean, I don't think he gained really an advantage from that, but
he did actually have a slower start than Perez and still get ahead somehow.
Yeah, I mean, we can argue maybe it gave him a slightly better position on the track, but I'm not sure that he gained much of an advantage from it. But anyway, as I said, the rules are the rules, so he was incorrectly positioned, it's clear. Now, actually, the reason they've reinstated him for 3rd is because there's actually Aston Martin managed to convince the FIA that there'd been plenty of other examples of people actually, I think, positioning jacks before actually working on the car. So there was basically precedent, and they accepted that there was some precedent there. So it's all getting a bit technical. It's all got a bit.
Even George Russell said it was a bit harsh.
I think it was really harsh. It was harsh. The 5 seconds, I think, he has to accept Fernando, but I think for him to lose it at that point after he'd been, clearly. I mean, that's the thing, and that's the point I was going to make, is clearly the Red Bulls are well up the road, we can see that, but the Aston Martin, right, Nick, is the second best car, isn't it?
Really?
Don't you think so?
I think they're close to Ferrari, honestly. Ferrari might even be better than them.
But where did Ferrari finish today?
Sainz isn't the better driver. He finished 6th, but Leclerc had to start from 12th, and he was getting held up by Sainz the whole time. So he only finished 7th, so it's a bit of bad luck there.
I mean, I actually think that the current order of the cars is basically Red Bull way out in front. Aston Martin's probably it is the second quickest car.
Stroll did not finish though.
Stroll didn't finish, but that really doesn't say anything about the performance of the car. And then who would you say after that? I mean, I think it's Mercedes. Mercedes look like they're probably the 3rd quickest car, certainly on this track.
And then Ferrari, because Ferrari's not that slow.
No, I mean, in the last race it was Ferrari quicker than Mercedes. Now, Mercedes look like have they caught up a bit, or does this track suit the characteristics of the Mercedes better than the Ferrari? Or we don't know, but certainly looks to me like there isn't that much to choose, perhaps between the Ferrari and the Mercedes, which is, I'm not sure. I mean, either Mercedes have managed to catch up a fair bit, like I said, or Ferrari have dropped off a bit. But as I said, it's only 2 races, so we'll have to see. But what is absolutely clear, and you know, have to say it again, is the Red Bull is miles ahead, right?
Oh, and also on the first lap, if you
Yeah.
didn't see it,
Mm.
Piastri was overtaking Gasly, I think it was. He was alongside,
Yeah.
and Gasly pulled over on him, and Piastri had to back out, and it broke his front wing off. Honestly, I think that could have had a 3-second penalty or something.
Right. Okay.
But
could have been another penalty
because
there. Yeah.
he basically, Piastri's alongside him, and you can get a penalty for forcing another car off the track. I think actually one time somebody got a 10-second time penalty for it. I don't know when, but
Yeah.
yes.
What did you think about? I mean, Mercedes went for a split strategy, so they put Lewis on the medium tyre, and then George went onto the hard. How do you think that worked out?
I think it was okay. And
yeah, it's pretty close
also
between them, right?
Ferrari and Leclerc starting with the soft tyres.
Yeah.
And then going longer than the medium runners and going onto hards.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's. I think the teams kind of Ferrari, Mercedes. I think they were trying to split their strategy, which I think made sense, right? And maybe Lewis thought he could get a bit more out of the car on the medium tyre, so maybe he gave quite a bit of input into that. So, yeah, I mean, seemed to work pretty well. At the end, I think there was nothing much between Lewis and George, right?
Yeah.
Very little between them. So, yeah. So I would say, I don't know if Nick agrees with me. The situation is after 2 races. First of all, I think it was the right decision that Fernando ended up getting third in the end, because I think that was a fair reflection of his race. But I think how it stands at the moment is we've got the Red Bull way ahead. We've got the Aston Martin in second place, possibly the Mercedes third, but it's between Mercedes and Ferrari. And and then it's the best, and then it's the rest, really, isn't it? After that, so we'll just have to see how it develops. Mercedes is saying that they are gonna, put all their efforts into going down their new direction. So we'll have to see how that pans out.
Yeah. And honestly, I think nothing really else happened in that race, really.
Like in every race, a lot of other things happen, but nothing else maybe that we want to comment on too much. So that's 2 rounds gone. What's the next round, Nick? Australia in 2 weeks from now? I think so.
I don't know, I think so.
Yeah. So guys, we'll be back before then, or certainly we'll be back with our qualifying summary. So yeah, that's it. Another episode of Didi and Nick's F1 chat. As I said, father and son F1 team. So great to see you all again, guys, and enjoy the time in between, and look forward to the next race. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao. Bye bye.